I feel very, very, very stupid. Even though I have a high IQ, I couldn't spot the red flags and I couldn't see the real person behind that mask. I think my problem is that I have fear of abandonment and I dream of having a husband and a happy family and like a fairy tale story, and I got kids with this man, and I thought that's it. So now I have to fight for this man. I have to keep it, like, because I'm not gonna have kids with somebody else. Once I have kids with one, that's it. I'm not gonna have multiple baby daddies. So I accepted many, many things that he did to me because I was hoping that one day he was gonna love me the way I loved him and we were all gonna be happy together. But in the moment that I got pregnant, he ghosted me completely. He didn't talk to me, he ignored me, he kicked me out of the apartment. He was renting me an Airbnb near his house. He kicked me out. He said I had to leave the apartment unless I signed a document. And then the assistant was like telling me, you should abort because Greg is not going to be involved in the kid's life. And we don't know if this is his child. So far you will have to figure it out on your own. And like, I was so sad. And then I was going to the ER every day because I was in so much pain and bleeding, but nobody could tell me what was wrong with me. And he was never there with me. He never went to the hospital. He never did anything. He never sent me one of his drivers to take me to the hospital. I always had to take an Uber. And it turns out a week after that they told me I had a rupture in my fallopian tube because I had an ectopic pregnancy. So they took me to surgery right away. And he was not there. He didn't come. Then he picked me up late from the hospital, and I have a dog that I need to walk, and I couldn't walk the dog. He just left me in the apartment, and then he left. He didn't ask me if I needed somebody to help me with the dog or something. When I got to the apartment, the cleaners didn't go. They were canceled by his assistant, and I specifically please ask that the cleaners could go and change the sheets because that day that I went to the ER for surgery, I bled a lot and the bed was full of blood. So I will never forget this moment where I was crying and crying and crying nonstop, changing the sheets on my own and in pain. Pain from losing a baby, pain from the father of my baby not being there, and pain for being treated like a dog, basically. It was horrible. Then, 2 weeks later, is St. Valentine's Day, and he calls me and tells me, are you sexy? Are you healthy enough for sexual activity? I said, yeah, I am. And he says, like, okay, let's go on a date with this girl. What do you mean, this girl? Yeah, it's a girl that is a friend. What? I thought you were my boyfriend. Who is this girl? Are you cheating on me? I asked. And he says, well, I met her before you. Like saying, well, no, I was cheating on her. Or he didn't care, so insensitive. I just lost a baby. I had a surgery. And on Valentine's Day, he tells me, like, yeah, come have dinner with me and the other girl I was fucking while I was with you. So I agree because I was very curious who this girl was and I needed to know, Then they were going to North Carolina for his trial, and the girl stayed in his room with him, and he booked me an Airbnb, a horrible Airbnb in North Carolina, because he didn't want me near his documents, apparently. But then he regretted and he put it in the house. But I have to live with him, another girl, and then he brought another girl. Like, I got pregnant again, and then when I was pregnant, he was done with me because I already was pregnant. So this is only for reproductive thing, no? So he brought this other girl, that is Irina. She was the egg donor of Eric. They started dating, and she was living with us. She was taking care of Eric. She was very involved with Eric and thinking that she was the mother of Eric. I tried to explain her a million times that don't get too involved because you're not the mother, and she was not believing me. I was telling her what he was telling me. She's just an egg donor. When Eric turns 1, she's not going to see him again. But in her head, based on what he told her, she was going to be the mother, apparently. And they were a boyfriend-girlfriend. I don't know. Then I was like 4 months pregnant. We were all living in the same house. This girl, egg donor, Ellen, another egg donor, like all in the same house. Um, he was basically trying to get everybody pregnant. I don't know why. There was this girl, Ayana, coming to the house too, and she was trying to get pregnant as well. She actually got pregnant at the same time as me. She lost a baby, and then she got pregnant again, and she lost a baby again. But all this time, I was telling him, please, 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 don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. This is why are you doing this to me? Why are you disrespecting me like that? And he was responding like, you don't run my life. I can do whatever I want. Like things like that. And I was pregnant. Since I was so annoying to him because I was controlling him and telling him stop doing this, who did you see, blah, 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 I became too annoying. And I became in his way of his playboy lifestyle. So he made me sign a contract saying that I will follow all the laws of the United States, something like that. So then the next day, he said that I had to leave the house because I didn't follow the contract. And I was like, what contract? What the fuck? You're not following United States law. What? What do you mean? You're here on an expired visa. Are you? So now, what the fuck are you talking about? You know perfectly well that the country closed the borders, is COVID, and I cannot go anywhere. And I applied for an extension because of that. So I am legal here. So that was just an excuse to kick me out of the house so he could keep fucking girls. I booked an apartment, but they kicked me out in a way. They told me you have 2 hours to leave the house. The assistant, not even him. You have 2 hours to leave the house. We were not going to give you any money, and you will have to figure it out on your own. I was 4 months pregnant. He says he was only going to pay for 1 month rent, and then I will have to figure it out unless I sign an agreement that he wrote. Otherwise, I will have to take care of a baby on my own and survive on my own. So I was forced to sign that document. I signed it. He changed a few things before signing, and we had a discussion about that. That is on my WhatsApp. It's well documented that I'm telling him, you changed the contract, and you didn't tell me that you changed some words and sentences, and then you made me believe that I signed something that it was not. And he says it's bullshit, but it's not bullshit because I have proof. I have the emails, and you can see one contract and then sign it another contract. Evidence is there. So then I booked an Airbnb, and the crazy Airbnb guy story happened that this guy abused me, and he was treating me very bad, and I had to leave the apartment. And he was not helping me. He was not coming to defend me or help me. I had to leave and figure it out and I don't know, look for an... After that, he rents me a house. Then I am having a lot of stress because I still can't believe how the father of my child is never around, and he's only fucking around some egg donors and whatever, making more babies, when he told me in the beginning that he wanted a family and he wanted kids. You already have me. You're already having kids with me, so why are you looking for more? I guess you're looking for blue eyes and blonde kids. I don't know. That's my only thought. So I was very pressured. I felt a lot of pressure in giving him a blue-eyed kids. Like, honestly, it was very, very stressful. Then I went to the hospital because I was having like depression, and I stayed there 2 days. And he didn't come to see me. He didn't try to take me out of there. He didn't do anything. Then when I was out, he called me and he asked me to write a letter to the judge saying that I need him here the whole pregnancy so he doesn't go to jail now. I need him here. He's my only support system. I am actually taking medication for anxiety. I was hospitalized because of depression, that I really, really need him. He made me write like 5 letters until it's perfect for him. But he was never there. He didn't care that I was in the hospital. He didn't care that I was depressed. He was actually all the time telling me, oh, you do this, or you get out of the house. Or you do this, or you figure it out on your own. Then when we moved to Alabama, Hercules was born, and I was asking for his passport because I needed to leave the country. Otherwise, I was going to overstay my visa. I was on pending extension. So if I leave before that, I'm not breaking any laws. But he was just ignoring me. I asked for the passport for years and years and years. Like, literally, he never gave me his passport, ever. Then I finally got the answer saying that I had to leave the United States, and that was in 2023. It took like 3 years for the government to give me that notice. I had to leave. He didn't give me the passport. He only gave me 2, and I left with 2 kids and with 4 months pregnant. He didn't give me the other passports. It took him like 6 months to give me Hamida's passport and send her here. It took me 8 months for him to give me Eric's passport and send him here. So I spent almost a year without my children, pregnant. I gave birth alone.